This is ESPR Boxing. Delighted to be joined by Paul Kelly. It is the 25th of January today, and Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk still has not been announced. Paul, we were originally told this fight could happen in February, then we were told March. Now I feel you're having more and more people questioning whether the fight's going to happen. There's a bit of back and forth on social media. This is more just like a video just to kind of try and get an update on your thoughts and what you think's going to happen. First question is, just general thoughts on the back and forths over the last month or so.
Yeah, thanks, Eliot. I think it's quite funny, isn't it? I think it is quite funny. You see Usyk, sitting there with a burger, and he's just funny, and
Yeah,
Usyk's just hilarious. Obviously, because English isn't his first language and all that. It's just funny when he calls out whoever it is. I find that quite amusing. I do find it all quite amusing, but something that kind of annoys me about it is, the fight, the negotiations seem to probably what are going on and on and on. Yet this is a similar situation to what we probably had for the Fury Joshua fight we thought we were going to get. Um, Yet at that for Fury Joshua, Fury was going on social media every day. Oh, you've got 24 hours to sign the contract. You've got this, you've got that. I'm not fighting you unless it's this. Blah
yeah,
blah blah. And he hasn't done any of that with Usyk, which I actually see that as a positive. Because to me that means there is real stuff going on, behind closed doors, and hopefully they are, negotiating and they are close to getting the fight across the line. But yeah, to allude to what you said at the very beginning there, February originally, obviously no chance now. March, even that would only give them what? I know they're probably still training, but that would give them an 8 week camp, and that would be at the end of March. Probably not likely as well. So it is looking more like April, and we'll actually probably see Joshua Franklin. I think is probably going to be on April 1st before we see Fury or Usyk in action, whether that be against each other or not.
yeah. We'll see what happens. Obviously, this is an ongoing situation. I know that Fury did a very short interview with Sky at the Eubank Smith event on Saturday night. Obviously, he was in Joseph Parker's camp, and he said that an announcement's going to be imminent. So hopefully we hear some sort of development soon. I don't know. I feel like I'm still positive that it does happen. I just think that this is one of the biggest fights in the last few years. And these fights take time to emerge. I just found it a bit concerning when last week Frank Warren came out and said that they were just like talking to different venues. And my thoughts were, if this fight's going to happen in March, you can't surely want to kind of have a venue sorted by now. That's my opinion. I don't really know what I'm talking about, but I was a bit surprised by those comments. So that's why I think that I agree with you. April looks like the most likely month, but it wouldn't surprise me if that turned into May, to be honest. That really wouldn't surprise me. Want to get kind of like a prediction from you if this fight's going to happen next or not. What's your gut feeling, Paul?
Yeah, everyone knows I'm the biggest Joshua fan out there, and I was adamant that he was going to beat Usyk. Both times, obviously that didn't happen. But watching Usyk, to me, he's like poetry in motion. I think he's unbelievable, and I'm probably in the minority here saying that I expect and I predict Alexander Usyk to beat Tyson Fury. I don't know. I don't see him stopping Fury, obviously. But I could see him picking up enough rounds to win on points. Obviously that's all dependent on having accurate and
Yeah,
proper scoring, and hopefully there's no bias here or there. But I've heard Saudi, it was in Saudi, looking like another venue for it. But yeah, if I was to predict, I would say, I would say Usyk on points probably in a really really close fight. But I don't think this whole thing about size and stuff. Obviously Fury is abnormally big. He's like what, 6'9". He's nearly 7 foot. Joshua was 6'6", and Usyk. I know Usyk's what, 6'2", 6'3". He didn't look a huge amount smaller than Joshua. Like he dealt with that. He's used to punching up now since being up at heavyweight and stuff. And he's just so good, such a good technician that I don't think it really will phase him too much. Obviously, You've got the Fury in recent years has been more of a come forward, kind of bulldozer. I don't know if he'd want to do that against Usyk either. So I don't really know what the tactics and all would be, but I can just see a world in which Alexander Usyk wins the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, plenty more to unravel. Is your gut feeling at this moment in time, January 25th, telling you that this fight still does happen next? Is that what you see happening?
In short, yes, I do. I don't know what it is. I'm confident it's going to happen. I'm not going to bet you 20 quid like Eliot did that Fury Joshua is going to happen. I'm not going to do that. But yeah, no, I do think it is going to happen. I heard somewhere, I can't remember, I was listening to, yes, that's what it was. I was listening to what do you call Fight Disciples podcast, and they said about that both fighters aren't, the way you would normally get a purse split or whatever, they're actually doing their own separate negotiations. So if Fury's earns, just for argument's sake, 20 million or whatever it is, and it's nothing to do with a purse split, it's not like a 60-40 or anything, then Usyk gets 40% of whatever. Apparently they're actually negotiating separately. So there's no purse split or anything. I heard I can't remember what the source was, but yeah, mentioned something about that. But again, clearly means that there are negotiations going on. They are trying to get the fight made. I do think that both fighters want the fight made. And yeah, as of today, still do think it will happen next. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not as confident as I was. I would say I'm kind of 70 to 80% sure this fight will happen rather than kind of 90%. Yeah, I just think that the fact that negotiations are still happening is a good thing. It's not like, hoping that doesn't mean that the camps have fallen out or negotiations have broken down. And I just think it's clear that this is the fight for both fighters. When there were those Tyson Fury Joshua rumors 3-4 months ago, I don't think that was the right fight for Joshua, and I'm not like 100% sure it was the right fight for Fury either. It wasn't the right fight to happen at that time. This is the right fight to happen next for both fighters. So yeah, and you want that to happen because in heavyweight boxing, if you don't make the fights happen, eventually one of these fighters could lose, then the fight's not as big. And that's what happened with Joshua Fury, Joshua Wilder as well. Those fights haven't happened and they could have happened. So I hope people are learning some lessons maybe. But yeah, I think we're in agreement. We'll maybe do another video on this in a couple of weeks' time and see where we're at then. But yeah, fingers crossed, Paul. Will Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk happen? We don't know. But yeah, we're both confident and we'll keep our fingers crossed. Paul, thank you very much.